Have you ever been in a conversation with someone, or maybe even thought about it for yourself, that hell just seems pretty harsh for a few lies and my bad attitude? Hey guys, I'm Aaron with another Stint Take. I want to dig into something today that hopefully will clear up some confusion for you. There seems to be a common idea starting to surface that hell is too tough of a punishment for the sins that we commit here on earth. After all, we can't be perfect, right? Now, I hope that by the end of this video, you will see that this thought process really diminishes or lessens how evil sin actually is. The thought looks at sin and it tries to say, sin isn't that bad. It's not bad enough that I deserve that kind of a punishment. See, it also tries to make us feel comfortable with hell. This reminds me of an interaction with one of my kids from years ago. My daughter was about 4 or 5 and she had done something wrong. We talked about it and what she had done, and in this very instance I asked her, what do you think your punishment should be? She responded very quickly with, well, I really love cleaning my room and doing my chores, so maybe I should be grounded from that? We all see what she tried to do, right? She wanted to choose a punishment that was easier to deal with, that was more comfortable for her. The problem with this is she neglected to actually look at her sin. Obviously, she was very young, so I didn't expect that, but we all try at times to minimize our sin in an effort to minimize the punishment. You see, I think for us to best understand the reality of hell and the adequacy of its punishment, we first need to understand what sin is. The Bible describes sin as lawlessness in 1 John, an abomination in Proverbs, detestable in Leviticus, destruction, darkness, evil, and so much more. We all know sin's not good, but we all still tend to make excuse after excuse, justification after justification why it's not that bad. Bottom line is this: sin is the opposite of God's nature, and we still choose this daily. We're faced with choices every day between right and wrong, good and bad, sin and righteousness, and we still choose the wrong thing. We choose sin. When someone continually chooses to lie, we can all admit that there's a problem and that there are natural consequences for this continual choice. See, there's also a spiritual consequence of consistently choosing sin. Romans 6:23 says, the wages of sin is death. And of course, he's talking about spiritual death, not just physical death. In other words, hell. We've earned hell for our sin. You see, when we start saying that hell is too harsh, or I don't think that the sin matches the punishment, we're really minimizing or even sometimes justifying sin. And we're also putting ourselves into the throne of the only righteous and perfect judge that will ever understand why hell has to be so bad. Let's not slip into the mentality that sin is ever worth it. See, if we believe that sin and hell isn't that bad and that hell is more or less a slap on the wrist for a few years, then living a sinful life doesn't really sound like that bad of an idea. There needs to be a healthy fear of what hell is and the incredibly horrible place it is, which will become more and more clear when we can ultimately have a healthy fear of God. Top of all the descriptions of hell in the Bible, we know that the worst part of hell is that it is void of the presence of God. 2 Thessalonians 1:7-9 says, he will come with his mighty angels in flaming fire, bringing judgment on those who don't know God and on those who refuse to obey the good news of our Lord Jesus. They'll be punished with eternal destruction, forever separated from the Lord and from his glorious power. Here's the thing. Let's make sure we're living a life trying to live more and more like Jesus, because even the essence of that thought, hell is too harsh, sounds like somebody who would rather live sinfully than live more like Jesus. Let's encourage one another to live, talk, and love like Jesus, because regardless of what we think hell should be or shouldn't be, it's not our place to judge. Thanks, guys, and as always, I know there are so many thoughts on this topic and tons of different ways we could have gone, but let us know what you think. We'd love to hear it. We really would. Comment below, like, and subscribe. We will see you next time.
If you want to learn more about this topic and many others, or about our cost-free Stint internship, visit tobecker.org/stint.